flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next we'll have the public input. If anybody's here for public input. Go ahead and have a seat up there. State your name and address.
I'm bad with microphones. Is this okay? Yeah. Okay. My name is Jamie Oper. I live at 228 Fifth Avenue North, down the street from the library. I want to start off by saying that I recognize that this is a politically fraught time. It is a delicate situation. I know we are all sick at this point of unprecedented times. I personally miss precedented times. I am deeply concerned about the ICE activity that is happening in Waite Park in St. Cloud. I would like to know what kind of the stance of the city is. I am really concerned about public safety impact in particular. Specifically, I'm not sure how much you are aware of what people are saying in the community. There is, I think, a serious risk of people panicking. I think we are all aware of what's been happening in Minneapolis. I am really concerned people are going to get hurt. And I feel like I understand that we are a small municipality and there's probably not a whole lot we can do. But we need to do something to try to keep our residents as safe as we can. And that includes all of our residents. That's our Somali neighbors, that's our Latino neighbors, that's our white neighbors, that's everyone, because this is putting everyone at risk. This activity is putting everyone at risk. I don't know if you're aware of what was happening at Star City Mall earlier today. There was a massive, massive raid, I think 20, 30 ICE vehicles. It was bad. At least 2 US citizens were detained. We don't know where they have been taken. I would really like to see some assurance that the city of Waite Park is taking this seriously and trying to ensure the safety of our residents.
Thank you.
Christina Rinksmuth-Mose. I'm at 809 Poplarwood Court. I would mirror those feelings, and I think I would go on to say that I think that our police officers do a really good job, and I want to keep everyone here safe. And in order to do that, I think that we need to ensure that everyone is safe, not just those who are privileged or have money to keep themselves safe. But also, I think even if maybe politically you don't agree, I think that even if you don't agree that people should be here illegally, or if you think that people should not be here illegally, this is not the way to get them out. This is not safe. And as Jamie said, you know, we are detaining US citizens, which, I mean, it feels like a little bit like Nazi Germany at this point.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Laura Ringsmooth, 851 Fifth Avenue South. I have heard from people working at schools that they have been asked last names of some of their kids and if they may be Hispanic or whatever. And I think there's just fear of the unknown here. My concern is obviously for everyone, but I'm really concerned about the kids too. I'm concerned that their parents might be taken away. I'm concerned that I don't know if they're going to start putting kids in facilities too. I don't know. And so my concerns, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Mike Pond, 129 6th Avenue North. I'm here to request at this time a moratorium. Actually, not a moratorium, but a tabling of items H and I on your agenda for tonight in regards to this roundabout. Failing that, I'm respectfully requesting that each council member vote no on this particular item, actually items. I really don't think City of Waite Park needs another or any actual roundabouts. I'd like maybe a further study being done in regards to making First Street South one way heading east until 6th Avenue North, and then it can split. I think that this will, since the main drive behind this seems to be a carbon reduction project, and you're worried about idling cars turning left, that this will take care of that, at least in regards to the cars that are heading left off of First Street onto 10th Avenue North.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else would like to speak? Otherwise, then we're going to move on to review and approve the council's agenda.
Move to approve as presented.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, then we will move on to the consent agenda items. Item A, approve a temporary gambling application for the Indy Foundation for February 12, 2026. Approve the temporary gambling application for Indy Foundation for March 28, 2026. Approve a temporary gambling application for St. John's Prep School for April 25th, 2026. Approve the lower potency hemp registration for A4 LLC. E, approve the massage enterprise license for Purely Radiant Aesthetics LLC. F, approve the Minnesota paid leave policy. Item G, approve the resolution accepting donations to the city. Item H, approve resolution supporting the grant application for carbon reduction program. Item I, approve resolution supporting the grant application for surface transportation block grant program. J, authorize sale of a 1996 no-go. Item K, approve purchase of 4 public works trucks and the sale of 3 public works trucks. Item L, approve the purchase of a sport utility vehicle and a 4-wheeler for public works. Item M, approve the warming house attendant. Item N, approve 2026 property casualty insurance renewal and liability coverage waiver form. Item O, approve Flattery and Hood lobbying proposal for the Ledge Amphitheater. Item P, approve partial release of lots for the Lone Oak townhouses.
I'd move to approve the consent agenda items as presented.
I'd like to pull H, I, J, K, N, O, P.
You say those again.
Sure. H, I, J, K, N, O, P.
Okay, would you approve the rest?
Yes. I'll move to approve A through G, L, M. That's it.
Second?
We have a motion second. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
I just let Mike know that this is just for a grant application to pay for that, and it's part of conjunction of the Highway 23 project in 2028. So we're a long ways from building it. So I'll move to, well, we have to do some improvements to that intersection as part of that highway project. It's the state highway project of 23. Okay. Well, I'll move to approve item H and I.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve H and I. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, pass unanimously. Okay, where are we at?
J and K. These both fall under the same thing. So when we sell something, I would like a report back to council what we got paid for it or
Oh,
and where that money is going.
yep.
Because I always wonder, how much did we get for the generator off of Public Works?
Yeah, we can, yeah. We can, yeah. or-
We'll do that.
Well,
Well,
these are the things in my
Yeah.
mind and I want to fix that.
No,
And I don't know how to fix it from now on, but anytime in the
No.
future, we
Just a
sell
report back,
city
yeah.
property, I would like to know how much and
Yeah.
where it goes.
yeah, we can give you a full report, Frank, yep.
So I'll move to approve J and K.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Item N. I never seen that, at least I don't remember seeing this discussion under just a consent agenda. We usually discuss,
Property casualty insurance renewal?
yeah, in what we're buying and what we're not buying.
Every,
So, and I think it's worthy of at least talking about it where it gets recorded.
sure, we've always done it this way, so yeah, but Adri handles some of that stuff. So you have a specific question, or are you just talking about in the future of how we do this, or you want to talk more about it now?
Well, I
Or
don't,
table it, or what would you like to do?
I don't remember seeing it under consent agenda previously.
Yeah,
You know, so we at least had a discussion of what insurances we weren't buying or the extra coverages we were buying. So, or maybe or at least in the future, let's not put it under consent agenda.
that's fine, yeah.
I'll move to approve item N.
Second?
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Item O, I thought we weren't gonna hire them to do that because we are already in the bonding list project.
We are, but I do
So-
believe that if you're going to have any success in trying to get that project forward, that you need that. I've talked
Because the
to,
last time, at least me and you chatted, we
I-
thought we didn't need to do that.
I've gone back and forth on that, but I think when I look at where we're at right now with that, I think there is some potential. And part of it is the viability of being successful with that. I think there's more potential with Representative Perryman running for Senate. I think that maybe that will help us in some efforts doing that, and I think we need to have a lobbying presence down there if we really want to get the funding. It just depends on how active you want to be doing that. I don't have the potential of being able to go
I
down
was
there,
just
it's
surprised to
jacketing.
see it on here
Yeah,
after.
we went
I
back
thought-
and I went back and forth, and it was more, after I talked to Bradley, it's more about whether or not the success of having a bonding bill. And I think that was the concern about whether or not, was there really going to be a bonding bill this past year or not? And I think that's the question. And I think that there is some viability with that. But you don't want to have them do that. We don't have to, but we have to, there's a lot of work in the backside of that needs to get done. Jacketing bills, getting, going down there and getting, everybody on board, getting all of the people to sign on to the bills and things like that. That takes a lot of time. It's not my expertise, and I think that's the timing of it is what the part of it. But yes, we did talk about whether or not we want to do it or not, because last year I felt like it was,
Just
was
kinda
nothing.
skipped over.
Well, the whole bonding process was,
Yeah,
but we never know that from one year to the next of what that's going to do. So, but I can tell you that they've been successful. It's not from their lack of getting the information out or, getting the things done or getting, people talked to. It's just the appetite for doing a bonding bill. That was my concern with that.
Right, and it seems like we spend the money and then it
Well,
all
we have
six.
spent it and we've gotten it too. We've gotten a lot of
Right.
money off of that. If you look at the amount of the success that
Right,
we've had
like,
with that, it's a small
All I'm
amount of
saying, I
money.
was more surprised it
Yeah.
was, you know, back under the consent agenda.
I just wanted to put the proposal forward because I felt like that was, if we really want to do a good stance on trying to get that project funded, that's how we're going to have to do it and get it done.
I'll move to approve item O.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve item O. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
These partial lots, you know, I read back in the history, it was in 2007.
Yeah, we
When we-
purchased that for
when
when
we
we did that.
purchased it.
We did it for when we were going to put that roundabout at 7th and that was actually supposed to be the first roundabout
right.
in the city, or actually in the county,
Oh, I
actually. One of the very
remember.
first ones. Yes, we probably all will be
I
remembered
will,
with
yeah.
that. That was a
You
wonderful
thought your-
discussion,
yeah.
yes. So we've retained those lots because I think there's been an intention of that. The Townhouse Association reached out to me because those lots are not really like a true sense of a town, an association lot.
Lot.
So they want to be able to get us out of their
Association.
out of their association, and if it ever was to be sold and go back, it would go back in.
Right,
So
if we
that's the
didn't use it for a
partial,
public purpose,
Yeah.
it goes back to the association.
it does.
Under
yeah,
their governance.
under their governance.
I'll move to approve item P.
Second?
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
Some of these are hard for us to know exactly where to put them on the agenda.
Well, this works.
Yeah, this is fine. So if you have a preference, we can move them, but we struggle sometimes to know, well, is that consent agenda or is that a regular agenda? So if you ever want to pull an item like that, we can always bring it up for discussion, so,
Well, I personally
I
think
appreciate-
that was a good move that we just made.
yeah.
All right, so then we'll move on to the regular agenda items. We have item A, consider amending the job description for Public Works Director and hiring authorization.
So with the with Bill's upcoming retirement, I took the opportunity to go back and review the job description. One of the things that we talked about right now, currently under his preview, is the management of the ledge. And that will be something that we'll take out of this Public Works Director's and it'll end up coming into mine. So when a new Public Works Director is hired, they won't have that oversight of the ledge. That'll come to me. So I removed that out of the job description. And then we updated some of the other pieces to the job description. And I had Bill kind of review some of that. So what you're seeing here and the proposed changes are included in that. I think it was the licensure piece of giving a person an opportunity to have a little bit of time to get that licensing ahead of, not necessarily having it at the time that they apply, because what it will do then is it'll open up that pool of applicants. Some public works directors don't even have that.
But that would be included in the contract, right? That they must have it done in 3 years.
Yes, that's part of that agreement that they would have to have that. Yep. Yep.
So typically, there's 4 classes of license for both water and sewer. It starts at the lowest at a D, goes up to an A. We have B licenses here, but you can take your D license right away, basically. You don't have to, you can have 1 year of schooling and you're good. You go to a C, you have to have a couple of years of experience running a plant before you can take the C. And then a B, you have to have another couple, 3 more years of experience of running a plant. So they just don't allow you to go in and take a test, like a driver's test, and go, yep, and climb the ladder. You've got to put in your time for it. So that's why you see that extra, that layer in there. To allow somebody to come in that maybe's got a C, that it's close and they just need a little bit of time to do that. You're not handcuffing yourself with a good applicant pool.
And then some of the other pieces are really just wording that we tried to, it's not really changing the position, it's just really making it reflective
I
of what
noticed
the,
a minor difference. You don't list that they have to have a valid driver's license for this one.
Yeah, you have to have possession of a Class B or higher commercial license. You can't get a commercial license unless you have a valid license, so it's the same thing.
yeah. It's sometimes those simple ones like that, Vic, though, that are easily missed with some of that. We did include some of the similar language that we did with the fire chief job description for promptly responding within the time frame of the 30
Who's
minutes.
doing the performance reviews on the employees and setting the goals and things?
Well, the performance reviews are conducted by supervisors, so I'm not doing all of those performance reviews. So those are Bill has his own staff that he has, and then his supervisors also have staff doing that. So they're all being done by individual supervisors they have under their direct
Then
reports, so those are
Bill
being done.
ultimately reviews them?
Yes,
just let
they actually go to Lori for review. Yeah. Yeah. And she keeps track to make sure they're getting done. So what's before you then is just this job description wouldn't go in effect until the new person comes in, because it's a kind of a little bit of a transition. We're going to keep Bill on his current job. And then he'll still have that supervision over, the ledge is the biggest piece to it. And then once that new person comes on, we'll transfer some of that. So we'll have to make an adjustment in that, probably in Meredith's job description and my own, to reflect those changes as well, just so that it's clear, so she knows who she's who she's going to. So with that, it's the recommendation, or as far as what actions need to be taken, is one is beginning the hiring process for that public works director, and then amending that job description to be effective at the time that the new appointment is selected. The public works director is not a civil service position. It's exempt from the civil service board.
Any other questions? Otherwise, we need a motion.
I'll move to approve 6A.
Second?
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Then we'll move down to B, consider the fire chief job description and hiring authorization.
So this, as we've talked in previous work sessions, and then also included as part of our budget, is the full-time fire chief job description. So the two items before you this evening are to authorize, again, that hiring process if you're interested in moving forward with that, and then approving that job description to be effective at the time that the new appointment is selected. So that would be, we're trying to make some transition between Jim and that new particular position. The job description, we went through it before. I can certainly bring that up if you have any questions on that. I did get some feedback. I actually met with Aaron Hughes, who does our emergency management stuff, and I did stick a section in there about strategic leadership, because I feel like that's really what we're looking for, is somebody to have that forward thinking on that. And then I took out some of that language, Frank, that you talked about with.
I was going to ask, because I seen it stricken in this.
Yeah, I tried. Yeah, I did. I tried to get all of that out. Just mention just fire department and not the type of department that we have. And then again, in the bottom part of it is the same: availability to promptly respond with an approximate 30-minute response. The reason why it's approximate is because one trip, one place is not always going to be the same. And so I don't want to get hung up on a minute or things like that, but I wanted to make sure that there's at least somewhat of an expectation of what that is. And then the understanding that this particular person would be subject to call-outs and things like that. So I think we covered everything, but if I've missed something, this is the time to talk about it. This position will be covered under the civil service. So if we move forward with the search for, we did this with the police chief. We just incorporate the civil service board into that. It actually worked out really well. So if we move forward with these tonight, then we will work on that process and get them involved as well.
Why did you set the educational requirement as associate degree? It doesn't seem quite high enough with all of the paperwork and the requirements that are needed.
It was looking at the other job descriptions that I had. I mean, we certainly can do it. I mean, you're right. There are other job descriptions for the other department head level positions are a 4-year degree. We went to the 2-year, at this particular point, just trying to find a balance, but that was based off of other job descriptions that I looked at. But you bring up a valid point, Vic, on whether or not you want it higher than that. I just went off of recommendations that I seen, and I can really go either way. But if we're going to look at that, then that would change the
But
points.
we're talking about some high-level skills that are needed.
You are.
And I don't think we're going to find it with an associate degree.
I think that it lists out that an associate's degree, but a bachelor's degree is preferred. So it does list that out specifically, and it lists out that. And then it also takes into account years of experience as well. So you've got 5 years of supervisory experience required
I
in addition to
understand
that.
But our standards are changing rapidly in the state. And the requirements that the state is putting on us and for the fire chief to be on top of all of this stuff are going to require some really good skills.
Right.
And I just don't believe an associate degree is high enough. I think we need to go with a bachelor's degree.
Well, you can make a motion with that change.
I will make a motion to accept